All right, what's up, everybody? It's Will here from Flow Candy. Today, I have another email breakdown for you. This one is Feastables, which is MrBeast's chocolate brand. And I'm filming this in May 2025. And I feel like this is relevant because a few weeks ago, MrBeast got a bunch of trucks with Feastables, branding on it and drove it around Hershey's, Pennsylvania. So he got a lot of press for that. So I figured this would be a good time to break down their email marketing strategy, benchmark them against Hershey's. Obviously Hershey's is probably the legacy market leader, category leader in chocolate. They own a bunch of brands, Hershey's, Reese's, stuff like that. And just see who's doing a good job and who wins, and just learn a little bit more about their email marketing. So if you're a fast moving consumer brand, you're in the candy space, this might be a good one to watch. Just some real quick housekeeping. So, if you've downloaded this, you can click on this to get the swipe file for Feastables that I'm going to walk through. You click on this, you can get the benchmark report, which I'm going to walk through. And also I have a free bonus in this. It's a Feastables funnel breakdown. So in October 2023, I went through their whole entire funnel. I bought some chocolate bars. I documented all their emails, their flows, their landing pages, their pop-ups. I did a full audit on it. It's a little bit old because it was in 2023, but I filmed a video on it too that you can watch, 37-minute video breaking down their D2C funnel. All right, let's jump in here. Okay, so with Feastables, I'm going to go, well, first off, let's just start with the benchmarking report, okay? So Hershey's, first off, I always start with traffic, like how big are these guys, and just trying to figure out like what amount of traffic they're driving. And I was actually surprised that they weren't driving. I figured they'd be driving a lot more traffic. Feastables is driving about 1.7 million visitors every 3 months, and Hershey's is, a conglomerate, and like a lot of legacy brands, they have a complex tech stack, and I don't know how digitally enabled they are, but they have like 3 different sites, and I tallied it all up and got it to around 5 million visitors a month. But really, if you're comparing the 2 shops, like where you could buy things on, actually Feastables is beating them, because shop.hersheys.com is only getting about 567,000 views a month, or every 3 months. And keep in mind, both these brands, and you'll see this in the email marketing breakdown, yes, they have a D2C side of the business, and I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but this is an omni-channel brand, multi-channel brand, and where probably a lot of the revenue is captured in retail stores. I mean, all these brands are distributed in Walmart, Target, 7-Eleven, all sorts of retail stores here in the US. Hershey's maybe even more so abroad. I'm not sure about Feastables' international distribution just yet, but just keep that in mind. That sometimes we'll break down these businesses and it's really more of a retail play, but we'll break down the emails as well, and just show you what they're doing online. Frequency wise, so I pulled Feastables 2023. They're actually sending way more emails than they sent in 2024. So I'm not sure exactly why they did it, but they ramped up at certain periods that I'll talk about. Both these brands sort of ramp up. In 2023, Feastables averaged about 7 emails a month, which was when I did the funnel breakdown. So they were focusing much more on D2C. My hunch is in 2024 and into 2025, they're focusing probably more on retail. I don't know that, but that was my hunch, because they only averaged about 2 emails a month. In some months, like I don't even think they sent an email at all in April of 2024. So some months they just didn't send emails. Hershey's, I looked at their 2022 sends because that's all I could get access to. And they were sending about 13 emails a month. They do have a little bit more of a cadence. That doesn't necessarily mean they're doing a better job though. Promotional frequency. So I'll get into this when I break down. So Feastables I didn't see anything that I would say is promotional. So when I say promotional, yeah, I mean, like, do they send, 5% off emails, 10% off emails, buy one, get one free, free shipping during this day. So very, very little promotional. It reminds me of like sort of luxury brand, premium sort of branding. And maybe it's just like he gets so much traffic, or maybe it's some sort of deal he has with the retailers that he's not going to send any promotional emails. And my experience has been, after working with a lot of clients, is no client really wants to send promotional emails. They don't want to cheapen their product, charge it for a lesser price. But the reality is sometimes they have to get sales in, and they need the revenue. So it's always this like catch-22 sort of situation. We don't really want to send a promotional email, but we got to get revenue. We got to show growth. So that's been my experience. Hershey's, on the other hand, like almost all their emails are promotional in 2022. They're just every day, it's just hammering like 15% off, 25% off, last chance. So I bet it drives some revenue for them, but they're way more promotional. Maybe that's why MrBeast wanted, maybe that's one thing he looked at, is like, let's be different. Let's not lean into all these promotions. But really, really interesting. Tech stack wise, Feastables is using Klaviyo for email marketing and PostScript for SMS marketing. And Hershey's, I think, is using Salesforce. It's always hard for me to tell with these legacy brands because sometimes they are on custom setup, but I'm pretty sure it's Salesforce Commerce Cloud. I'm not sure what they're doing for SMS. All right, let's jump into the meat and potatoes here. Let's get into their strategy. Okay, so I got them all benchmarked here. And again, if you're new to this, what I do is I go through all the angles. And what I mean by angles is like, what are the types or themes or styles of emails that they send? And I rank them, and then I sort of decide who wins at the end. Spoiler alert, I benchmarked Feastables a little bit higher, even though they're sending way less campaigns. They're not even sending promotional campaigns. And I'll talk about that when I go through the breakdown in a sec. But this is not a perfect system. I always say this with a disclaimer. Not a perfect system. I've never worked with these brands. I don't know anybody who works with these brands. I don't have access to their data. Like, I don't know their open rates, their click-through rates, their bounce rates, their unsubscribes. I've never looked at their SMS opt-in rates. I don't have any data on how much revenue they're driving from campaigns, revenue they're driving from automations or flows, or any of their segmentation, any of their retention. I don't know their lifetime value. I don't know any of these like really, really important metrics to really, really extremely accurately benchmark them against each other. All I really can do is look at their campaigns and their emails and be like, okay, like point for that, point for that, point for that. And my experience has been, while this is not the most perfect system, it is sort of it is somewhat accurate. I talk about it. I've broken down benchmarked a lot of brands now, and some of the, like, recently I benchmarked this brand called Breeze, which is like a CBD drink brand, and I benchmarked Recess, which is another sort of nootropic drink brand, and I also looked at Olipop and Liquid Death, and I benchmarked all of this whole beverage category, and Breeze and Recess scored the highest, like 19, 20. They scored that high in my benchmarking analysis. And if you talk to people in the industry, they will say those two brands, Recess in particular, has been known for a long time, since they're a little bit more mature and a little bit older, as like the gold standard for email marketing. You talk to a lot of email marketing people. So it is sort of, the trends are here kind of, if you score high, typically you would log into their Klaviyo account or whatever email tool they're using, or SMS tool they're using, and you would see they have a lot of these flows that it's really dialed in. They're doing a lot of A/B testing. The KPIs are really high. So that has been my experience. Now, with that said, like, these brands actually scored pretty low, both of them, which is interesting. I normally consider anybody doing 10 to be doing pretty good. 15 is like, you're great. And then obviously 19, 20, you're like world-class, best in class. So it's interesting. And, Feastables is a very tech-enabled brand. Like, they do a lot of really interesting stuff. So maybe it's just not really a part of their strategy. and it's just not. And obviously, they don't want to send a bunch of promotionals, and they only really want to send an email when they feel like they have to send an email. So that was sort of my vibe on it. And with that said, they're still doing some cool things via email, which I'll unpack. But yeah, and then in terms of like angles, Hershey's, whenever I do this, there's obviously other types of angles you can use. This is just sort of the standard angles I see across categories, across different brands. But every time I do these, I learn new angles, and there were some interesting ones I saw from Hershey's. I got them pulled up here. So one thing they do, and if you're in sort of chocolate brand, this is something that Feastables could probably do too, is corporate gifts. So they did this. This was an interesting angle that I normally don't see a lot. I've seen it before, but it's not something I regularly see. So it's more like a B2B wholesale play. So again, if you're watching this, if you're in the fast moving consumer goods space, I'm trying to give you guys ideas. I'm trying to, so you can like implement this in your own brand, and so this is one thing that Hershey's did. Another thing they did is this personalization angle, which is, I'm not sure the tech stack to do this, but you can personalize your own candy bar, which is pretty cool. And so I don't know if this is like a special offer they do, but they do it around Easter, or they did around Easter. So that was a very interesting personalization. I wouldn't say it's like personalization in the sense of like zero party data, this new trend that everyone is talking about. I wouldn't categorize it as that. I more categorize as, hey, this is just like a personalization email. You can literally personalize the product. All right. So those are the two angles I learned, new learnings I had. Let's dive into actual Feastables and see what they're doing. I'm going to go through month by month. So first off, where they scored points here. So January 2024, this is a retail focus email. So I gave a retail partner email. I gave them a point for that. So anytime, and again, if you are a omni-channel brand, like you have distribution in Walmart, Target, Albertsons, 7-Eleven, like Feastables does. I know we work with a lot of brands that are distributed in Target or Whole Foods. You need to be sending these emails out. You can sort of tell your buyers, hey, like we're driving traffic to your store to push inventory on shelves. So that they scored a point for that, and they do this a lot of times, and you'll see a lot of these big omni-channel brands are doing this now. The second email they did, again, they only sent 2 in January. It was a coming soon sneak peek. You could also call this a content email, which maybe I should give them a point for that. But really, I gave it a point as a product launch, because this is part of a product launch process where they are teasing a chocolate bar they're going to launch next month or the following month. So I'll give them a point for content and product launch there. And so we'll bump it up to a 9. All right. Okay. Moving into February. And this is the best learning I could have for Feastables, like what they do better than just about anybody I've seen from an email marketing standpoint. And it fits into MrBeast's whole brand and sort of strategy on YouTube, is the contest email. I don't see a lot of these. A lot of times it's like it's maybe 1 or 2 emails a brand might send an entire year. Feastables is sending like one of these every month. Okay. And it makes sense because, again, like he gets a lot of his traffic from these wild contest type videos. I'm not going to go through all his YouTube strategy. That's a whole nother video. And I might not even be the expert there. Probably not. But it's a lot of these like contest type style videos. So it makes sense they would they would replicate that into the D2C side of the business. So that's one thing they do well. Also, they're getting points here for retail. They'll have like these little find us in retail blocks. And again, from an email design standpoint, I haven't really talked about it. It's nothing crazy here. I mean, it looks really amazing, and it is. It's good design. But I mean, this is just a repeatable logo block here. Okay. This is these are all image blocks. Image block. I mean, none of this is really text, in my opinion, all the way until you get to the footer, which again, you're doing the footer every single time. They have this text feast every single time. So you don't need a designer to do this. All the designer needs to do is come up with these couple 3 blocks, which doesn't take much time. And then you can find anybody can sort of turn this into an email. You don't need developers. So you might initially to get it through, but the design style here is not crazy. Even the buttons here, I think, are images. So it's nothing too crazy. I mean, with design, it's a clear design system. They're using this blue background every single time. All right, let's move into to March here. Again, contest email. You putting scarcity in the contest email, 3 days left, ending soon. So they are using scarcity tactics you might see some brands do on promotional emails, like, hey, or a product launch email, like, hey, get 15% off. Your 15% off code ends in 3 days. Oh my God, it's ending soon. But instead of doing that and sort of cheapening the brand, they're doing it around the contest, which is really interesting. Interesting strategy. And in this one, I gave them a point for either product launch or product focused. I couldn't exactly tell because I think what it was is it's the same product, but it's a new recipe. And again, they have a find a store block. So find a store block here. So they are driving a lot of traffic to these, or trying to drive a lot of traffic to these retail partners. Okay, moving into May, and like I said, they didn't send an email in April 2024. Moving into May, these are more product launches or product-focused emails. This one I couldn't really figure out what to score it as, but it's more like product-focused, maybe, because it's more like a sample size. And this one, it's like a contest email, and I would say like a team spotlight, maybe. I gave him a point for that, okay? You're sort of highlighting Jimmy. Jimmy is the MrBeast. So it's his birthday, and you can maybe even say it's a content email. I don't know where this goes, but I want a Tesla. This sort of fits in with his whole, his whole strategy on YouTube. Okay, moving into September, and this is where things get interesting. Moving into September, they got a point here for a collaboration for Tony's Open Chain. So that's a collab. And really, I should give a point to Hershey's for collabs too, because they do a lot of collabs as well, like they across brands and JVs. But here is where it gets interesting. And maybe we just couldn't find their April emails, but these brands, what I've noticed is they really ramp up sins or ramp up marketing around like a couple different holidays. What are the holidays everyone eats candy? Easter, Halloween is huge. And then Christmas, Valentine's Day a little bit too. So and you'll see as we get into October how much they really push it. But they're already kind of teasing it in September, and it's a retail email. It's a limited edition email. So I gave them a point for that. And this is something they're doing just for Halloween. And then you get into Halloween and it's like, they are really, really, really pushing it here. We got, again, they averaged 2 emails a month for 2024. in October, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 emails, which is, the most they sent all year in a given month. And it's because I think Halloween is a big revenue month for them, if I had to guess, or the October is a big revenue month with Halloween, obviously. And again, doing contests, 2 contests, 10,000, then 1 million, learn more, partnering with retailers like Sam's Club, Walmart, Target. So really interesting stuff here. If you are a brand watching this that's in sort of the candy space, what they do in October to build awareness, drive traffic to their retail partners. Moving in November. So this is an angle that I don't document, but I've seen before, the mystery angle. So this is one, that if we were documenting it more, they would maybe get a point here. Mystery angle. And then December, this is a gift guide, or a gift email, stocking stuffer. So they got a point for that too. All right, moving into 2025. A lot of this is just product-based stuff, product-focused email here. It wasn't really, and then they're hyping up the Beast games, which, it's content, maybe gift or contest. This is more retail stuff. But it wasn't until April that I saw another collab. And again, we're filming this in May. And it looks like they've ramped up sins here in April. So they got a collab with JLab, which is like a headphone brand, featuring them in Walmart, featuring the Beast games. They're driving more traffic for Easter. Again, so this is why I found it weird in 2024. We couldn't find any emails, but they ramp it up in 2025 because of Easter. And I think a lot of people get chocolate during Easter. And then it's the Beast games. And then I think this is a product launch email, a birthday cake batter email, a birthday cake batter product they launched. So that is the email breakdown. And again, I scored them both, not incredibly high, but, they are doing some interesting things. And again, if you have any questions on it, you can always connect with me on LinkedIn. Pretty active here. So you can just come here, message me. I'll get back to you. And then don't forget to check out the free bonus, the funnel breakdown. I have everything right here for you. There's a video, 30-minute video of me going over it. Full funnel breakdown, took screenshots, bought the product, and then an audit as well. So that's a really good bonus too. If you're looking to learn more about sort of the DTC side of the business, the back end, their flows, their landing pages, more about their traffic. I filmed it 2023, so it's a little bit older, but still a lot of good insight there. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. We're doing a lot of these breakdowns. People are loving them, so we'll have a new one coming soon. And yeah, stay tuned.